NDC wa bemu. Not John Mahama a president. One of the key persons you can discuss is Dr. Omane Boamah. And you know KB and NDC near bemu. 2016 BBC, 2020 BBC, 2024 was a son. Remember was Adiano. Again, I'm Dr. Omane Boamah, a card-bearing NPP member. Yes, we are yes. No, a card-bearing NPP member. It took Professor Mills to recruit him. How did that process happen? And I'm an old betcha on the critical analysis channel. Make sure so best subscribe and most subscribe. Click bell notification and the video be to my obi who know me ahwebi. Obi who a ano machinsem no ana basa kakra. But obi a utimu say across varied subject areas, across political divide, among for bonabaso any ade. Dr. Omane Boamah, former defense minister. Mobekaya 2016 yakotwaba. Ni yakotwaba no NDC results ewen na issue. In fact, asam no kra court in 2020 election court no. Ese don't get to understand said that they didn't have their own set of data.
I want to ask you. Now, in your own calculation, what were the total valid votes cast in the presidential elections on 7 December 2020? In your own calculations. My Lord, those calculations are reserved for a meeting for us to reconcile the figures because the first respondent herself keeps changing the figures. And so it says, when you bring your just look at your help the court. You see, when you started giving evidence, you said you had all the representatives across the 275 constituencies. You said you put agents to use the yes, and they were to coordinate the figures. You said it. Then he's asking you that from that, what figure did you get? You. My Lord, I haven't brought that figure to court.
And it became an issue. Say, why weren't they able to collect their results? 2. Ebra, the former national chairman of the NDC, Papa Okodi MP of Antiakwe, someone for Swampofo. And yes, you didn't get your contest. No, one of the key things I know was that election was that they were blaming someone for Swampofo. Say, then as director of elections for the NDC, when me and quality NDC results, no, they couldn't protect their vote. And I'm on for Bufuye. Say a 12 mom protective, a 12 mom protective vote. No, then came a certain medical doctor. It's not sometimes all the outliers echo baby and a buano sometimes. Obey director of elections.
Director for elections and IT. I think we've already alluded to the fact that it was under his tenure that we combined both roles. But you have to bear in mind that prior to Omane, there was this standing joke that the National Democratic Congress was unable to compile its electoral votes. Yeah. In fact, I was actively involved in the 2024 campaign. And in many places that I would go to, people would call me and say that, are you guys going to be able to secure the vote? This was the fear. Many people took it for granted that we would win, but they were not sure whether we'd be able to secure the vote or not. The moment President Mahama appointed Dr. Omane Boamah, I knew that this was not going to be business as usual, and I said so publicly. Omane put together this training manual and trained not less than 160,000 polling agents. And you should have seen them on D-Day. These were very well capacitated people who knew what the work was about, who asked the relevant questions, and who stood their ground. And today, that theory about NDC not being able to secure its votes is smashed, thanks in large part to the leadership of Dr. Omane Boamah. So I think that for me, yes, his family has lost a pillar. The country has lost a great leader. And the NDC has lost a strategist, and it's very sad that we've lost all of these young people at the prime of their lives.
For the first time, I'm many free election there. 2024 NDC Bawumia people when they come to collection of their data. By 11, no one is over near Banawi. They knew it because they built the same system. NPP built it 2016. Apparently, I'm the NCA. I'm sure, NASA guy. They built the system. For the first time, over reporters, I was saying this vocal machine be on the traffic channel scan and they collated their results. And in fact, like 2016, margin NDC about 20 NPP about 2016, and then the national election, it was negligible. 2024, the same thing NDCA. So, Omane Boamah supervised that process. Another thing I brought in the Kanya, what he did in places like Ashanti region. Yes, I did. This is the second time I met him. Professor Joshua Labi. I'm a say, my favorite person. Exclusively Sada. I do we and say NDC branches. NPP ka polling stations, right? Now, I don't want to become a bit of Bosome polling station, man say, yeah, Bosome from Presby A. Na NDC nye 2. Na NPP be when ya ebi man say 300 and something, 200 and something. But the issue is that at that polling station or the branch, NDC were executives be at 6. What is one kind of branches? And it was very smart to not say. When he became the campaign manager, because don't talk about campaign manager, no Omane Boamah Eyeduma. Then they discovered this thing say, a form one police station, NDC be lusu Bosome from what they normal, NDC be lusu Bantama normal. But they decided to take the polling station election results. No, and one of them was be as NDC executives 4, and I 8, number 12, and NDC and 3 and 2. How? Next, I even say the polling station or the branches that the NPP people.
Focus in Ashanti. We did nationwide auditing of all our branches. For the NDC, a branch is like a polling station. So we did, and for every branch or polling station, we're supposed to have 9 executives. So I remember in 2020, after the 2020 election, I went to Binduri, where I moved from police station to audit our executives there. I went to Kwabri East. I went to Subin. I went to Bosome Fremu. I went to Fantiakwa North. I went to a lot of places, and my other colleagues also went to a lot of other places. You follow? And we did what we call the branch audit to make sure. Why? Because, and in the process, we realized that we are supposed to have 9 executives in the branch. 9. But you see, if you have 9 executives in the branch, then it should mean that at every police station, you should make a minimum of 9. But there were places in Ashanti where we scored 0. You know, and this all came out in our branch audit and analysis. So it meant that there was some work we have to do.
True. So even if you have 4 executives, and even their family or children were voting, at least you have 10 at the police station at NDC in a hugely populated NPP, it makes sense. As a voter region, NPP or police station executives at every police station. There must be 8. Near better than a police station when you have 4. So they decided to sleep in these polling stations, speak to everyone, go to people's homes, try to ask questions about them. Oko amia sa no mo ye omko busa wachi o criminal record bibia. That was why they were able to recruit 160,000 people mu training and then strategy om ye madam for bi o de Honda Civic e be ni ma be kaya obenya accident no ye lawyer wa kra. Do you know what the NDC did on the election day? Omofo bi o wa kra wo nye polling onye election monitor wa kra no do Ashanti region because they knew that they could corrupt, the NPP could corrupt those in Ashanti region. And it's how they are, who Frebia Bakayan this lawyer, what's the arithmetic? That's why they formed the NDC lawyers. No, Mobekaya. Mahama question this also yes, though it was a distasteful comment, I disagreed with them on that. But they trained them. It's almost them alien to Ashanti region. 3 days to the election. Madam from Kwabri East. It wouldn't know on and I would say, that be. So it also helped, and that was Omane Boamah. That was Omane Boamah. Enti se President Mahama is president. Na mutumu so no chief mona ni suoni bibia because he have full cognizance of the impact of the gentleman on the 2024 election. And the bia make say yenko school no. The bia make no. School ehia. And you see it's not just the school. Omane Boamah no NPP ni. No NPP ni. This is about the third time I'm at it. Obi recruit Omane Boamah was Professor Mills, and let's not forget NDC buga na ye NDC zongo for the cry. And don't take it on a serious note. Oh, poor man. Say NPP NDC by economy first some rally and merewa bi any ade say young girls from tunu mu fujejira mutu yes NPP. It's because of Professor Mills. Let's not forget, Professor Mills back 2000, actually deputy ministers, no. I want to fellas kwachu fusu. I want to okujeto black. And mo national heroes no. Okujeto fellas kwachi Omane Boamah sa young crop of leaders in now on the mobile because he was a university academic no. And a professor no. He so say you have to connect the NDC politics to the youth to make it attractive. So even how the NDC become attractive, yes, those are stand up here branding. So that's John Mahama. No, you trace it directly to the first appointment of Professor Mills. So Professor Mills, who are active Omane Boamah is in new selection, or ya be then or ya TB.
Been recruited by Uncle Atta-Mills on the instruction of Professor Mills. Professor Mills thought that it was important to revive the youth front of the NDC. The NDC had lost a very difficult election, and the party had been demonized, and a certain image had emerged of the party that if you are a university graduate, you are an intellectual, then you don't belong to the NDC. The NDC perhaps is just for some veranda boys, as it used to be tagged at the time, and that young, up-and-coming, impressionable youth should stay away from the NDC. And so there was a conscious effort to rebrand the NDC. So Professor Mills, God bless his soul, he decided to take up that unfortunate perception and narrative which was building. And so he asked his political strategist, Uncle Atta-Mills, who, by the way, insisted that despite his advanced age, 82 years, and now bedridden, using a wheelchair, he insisted that yesterday he will spend the whole day with the Omane Boamah. And so he asked me to pick him up, and God bless him, he spent the whole day with Mrs. Rita Omane Boamah and the children, Ekia, Ama, and Yao. On Professor Mills's instruction, sometime in 2003, immediately Omane Boamah handed over as NUG's president. They had seen a gem in him. He had waged successfully a Get Fund campaign. At the time, Finance Minister Osafo was under declaring the full allocation of the Get Fund. And he detected it. And he made it a major issue, which was nationally discussed. He even managed to mobilize his own resources, in addition to NUG's dues, to get a team of lawyers to go to court. So it was not only agitation on the street, but that's Dr. Omane Boamah. He is very deep, very strategic. He's a thinker. He's not just a choboy kind of person, but he addresses issues from all angles. You know, a fine intellectual. So he had made a mark. Later he chronicled all of those agitations in a seminal book, which he titled Get Fund, a NUG's President's Account, which did very well. I read that book cover to cover, did inspire me. So in that struggle, he came into national prominence. And so Professor Mills instructed Uncle Atta-Mills to poach him. Remember, at the time, he was a known right-wing activist in terms of his ideological persuasion. He belonged to the Dankwa Buzia stock. He did show me his party card, which was signed not by Dan Boche, but by the first General Secretary of the NPP, Joseph Ajeni
Boateng.
Boateng. Yes. So that is how
So
deep.
prior to winning the election, he was MPP.
He was MPP, you know. But then after his Nook's tenure, what he went through and all of that, and then...
Yes. So he had to occasion Professor Hoy to go for him. Now, it also credits Mills. You also need to credit J.J. Rawlings. After so near Kokensiaka, Asumbobi Basademba in 96, he also occasioned the same Professor Hoy to recruit for him a certain Atta-Mills as the vice president. So you see, this is the success of a political party, no, the chain is wide. So Omane Boamah NPP new, but obey NDC adwuma, and look at even in the 41. Look at the legacy wager. And the be you for say ye follow no legacy. Ye chobo ne we mama ha we papa ha na de obi abetimi akabi. Enti wo nya appointment da. Me kan mo ntia me gususu aka because list ne ba. Master in this, PhD in that, doctor this, lawyer that. Na betra mama ha. Emfa. Omane Boamah was spotted by Prof because of his sheer brilliance. Okasa utumu woman see. He was recruited by Professor Hoy. A professor. Professor Mills is 14. He was given his first appointment. What Omane Boamah be a communication minister at a point. Okay. John Mahama. But in the defense, look at the portfolios he held. You see, sometimes look at the portfolios. It's like John Jinapo to Akufo, Samuel Jinapo to Akufo-Addo. Chief of Staff, First Step MP, now your Lands and Natural Resources Minister. That tells you the man likes you. It's very close. Very, very, very close. So it tells you that Anna John Mahama Masabe, and for you to come close to him in that rank and make you his defense minister, do you know what that means? At Abahorema Muntaka, Sebibe Mahama, a Muntaka. Ene Omane Boamah. Se unima. Interior and defense. Na I don't say Kofo, didn't Kofo didn't be a defense minister. It's because that time, running Sifra be more than 50 years. Go and check the history. 2000. Now Rollins was just about 50 years. Because I think 2021 or so, 70 something. He was 50 years, just around 50 when he left office. He was still viable, strong. Now, President Kufuor be president, who are this saying? Prof. Mills, who are this saying? President Mahama, who are this saying? So when Mills, when Rawlings was even leaving office after 19 years, he was younger than most fresh presidents about on the scene in Ghana's history. How old was Kufuor? So Kufuor was afraid. Say the armed forces debate me to know. And in fact, when you read the book of Kodjon Bien in the interviews, that threat was a palpable threat. Every time you could be another was the threat. Military to so he couldn't trust anybody but his brother. You know, the Dr. Kwame Adokofo, a defense minister. That is the reason. So when the president makes somebody a defense minister, it is coming from a place of huge trust. Entina Mahama Hashanesano. Muniru no deputy national security coordinator. I don't know be an national security coordinator. Debbie. So, it's in the one nation. This is the reason. This is the reason. It's you a patriot. We NPP ni. Me so be me a center right. I'm talking Omane Boamah. Answer no be me a center right in thinking. But the be my style of journalism will prove it for me. I don't need to be a card-bearing NPP, I don't need to be a card-bearing NDC member. But the message in this tribute, I'm as a young Ghanaian, and they say, shine. Suyadie, contribute meaningfully. Jaiko Konsa, Kotre meeting, and say, oh, Joe, can say, oh, contribute. And now I made interviews been in a tribute. I was so happy with the young man. At 41, look at the dexterity he brought to bear. Or co-defense ministry when the veteran. Look at the dexterity. Not Jumwedo or a medical doctor. But look at the dexterity in mind. And you can do all these things if you subject yourself to read. No, be over him. No, munya temdie.
Research.
A research. Into this a tribute to a patriot. I mean, find the currency. do be see subscribe am na click the bell notification me the video be atuma obehunu atumi ahwe from you no say to send the be ameka no ne hiawo Ghana nso nya to make sure so we show you them take care of yourself. Bye bye.